61 now, I think. Yeah, 61. Like, follow,
61.
subscribe, keep up the commenting. We've been having good comments, conversations. Um, Bear signed Jaylen Johnson, got it done. I thought that was really important amongst all this Jalen, Justin, and Caleb debate. We really needed to get that done. I think that's a sign of a good GM is to not only draft well, but keep the good players you have on your team.
Yeah, 4 years, 76 million too. That's a lot. It's not a lot less, but it's still less than what he would have been playing on the tag. And I think I've read somewhere it said something about that it was going to be, it's going to save them almost $8 million against the cap this year. Gino Stone, the safety from Baltimore, he's a free agent. His market value is somewhere around 7 mil. Justin Simmons just got released from Denver. Nobody, a lot of these guys too that got released, what's going to happen is that whatever salary cap that they sign for goes against the team that has the dead cap hit. So, guys like Russell Wilson and stuff like that, they'll sign for a little bit cheaper after being cut from their team because it won't count against, necessarily that new team's cap, but it will take off of whatever they sign for their old team's cap. So, I mean, there's um, a lot of options at safety. I know that's a point of interest for us this year
Yeah, we
going
have to
into
get
the
somebody.
offseason. We have to, absolutely, to replace Eddie Jackson. So, Geno Stone, he's 24 years old. He would be my number one target for safety in terms of free agency if we're going to go that route, if we're not going to get one in the draft. But it's looking pretty good.
I'd like
Like you
Justin
said,
Simmons. I think I just want a veteran. All the other guys are relatively young. I think one veteran out there would be good because Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, even Jalen Johnson, all pretty
I was gonna say
young.
you got your vet in Jaylen Johnson,
What is he? I
but
mean, he's got well, this is year 5 coming up for him,
yeah.
but he missed like I don't know. He's played probably 3 seasons, and he's only had one really good season.
I
Um,
I see where the Simmons thing's gonna come. I think he's gonna go to a contender.
yeah, probably. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how we're shaping up, but maybe we get a bunch of guys, and he might think we're a contender. I don't know.
It's a
Um,
possibility.
yeah. But Geno Stone would be good. I thought I saw we signed Tre'Davious Moore. I don't know if that's true because I know the tampering. I know we signed Patrick Scales, but I
Yeah,
thought I
we
saw
re-signed
something with
Patrick
Moore.
Scales. I did not see anything with more. There was another tidbit of information too. I guess Darnell Mooney had a 3 year, $30 million contract prior to last season. He did not sign. Um, he did not sign that extension. He was banking on having a career year, and he did not. So who knows how much that affects his free agency?
I mean, I don't
There's a
think it's
couple
going to affect him
teams.
much. I think that's was more than he's going to get in free agency, though.
Yeah, there's a couple teams that I saw might have been interested in him. It looked like Kansas City,
I was going to say the
I think
Chiefs
was one of the
probably.
teams.
Texans
And
need another wide receiver. There's a lot of
yeah, I
teams that could
forgot.
use a wide receiver 2, 3. So I definitely think he'll get signed somewhere. And I mean, good luck to him. I got nothing against the guy. Just I don't. Again, we can blame it on Justin, Getsy, him, whoever. I don't know. Just he looked like he wasn't playing with much energy to me. We harp on Getsy for calling the screens, but I thought a lot of problems with the screens were those guys can't block. I mean, I like DJ Moore, but he's not a blocker. Mooney's not a blocker. Um,
No, not at
Tyler
all.
Scott's just too little. Velus Jones too little. These guys are like, no, it's just so. But he just dropped some big passes. I mean, I know the Bears were low on the drops, and that's what people always harp to. Oh, the players didn't drop a lot of passes, and that might be true, but they dropped some very crucial ones. Um,
Well, free
and I
agency starts the tampering period starts Monday, so
Monday,
we're gonna see a lot of movement. Maybe we'll see some agreements. I don't want them to spend all out. I know we talked about this a little bit, and I kind of changed my mind a little bit. But I really don't have any interest in Saquon or Josh Jacobs. If we're gonna go after a running back in free agency, maybe Tony Pollard. I know he's coming off that injury, but Tony Pollard was a guy I wanted last year. If you remember me
yeah.
saying that, I like Tony Pollard. He's a good pass catching back. We need somebody who can pass block in the backfield. Josh Jacobs is not a good pass blocker.
I think
Khalil
Saquon's
Herbert's
all right. I mean,
Khalil Herbert's not a good pass blocker, but
no, he's terrible.
With Josh Jacobs, he only averaged 3.5 yards a carry. When you have Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson both had, averaged more yards per carry last year. I know Josh Jacobs had, what was it, 2017 his rookie season or something like that. He had like 1,700 yards, or was it 2019? It was one of those. He had like 1,700 yards his rookie season, and since then he's just kind of he hasn't had bad seasons, but nothing that's coming up to his rookie year. And Saquon stayed healthy last year. I know a lot of people were worried about his health, but the teams that win, they don't spend big at running back. And I think if you can find somebody kind of like a David Montgomery esque contract where it's 3 years, 18 million for a guy like Tony Pollard. Maybe you're paying 7 or 8 million for Tony Pollard because he's a little quicker, but we need that breakaway speed back, and we need a little bit of a better pass protector in the
Only
backfield.
Pollard only signed a 1 year deal with the Cowboys.
He was franchised.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of running backs in this draft. There's obviously one I like very much. I like Blake Corum. Think he's a feature back, a number one back, and you'll probably get him in the I don't know fourth round, third, fourth round. But I guess I kind of agree with in that sense. I don't want to spend big. I like Saquon. Um, I guess I try not to get into it too early. It just depends on what we're gonna do, what we can spend, how we're gonna go about that. But
well,
I
there was
still
a
agree.
lot of sorry, go ahead.
No, not that I really didn't.
There was a little smoke. Twitter being Twitter. A lot of these guys, the Jaylen Johnson contracts front loaded, and a lot of the conspiracy theorists out there, they're like, oh, there's a reason why it was front loaded so they can make room for Justin Fields, second contract, blah 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 blah. There was some more fire added, a report from Adam Schefter. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was some rumblings going on saying pretty much that there are people inside the building that like Justin very much. They don't want him to go. A lot of people are saying that's Kevin Warren, and he's kind of sticking his nose into Ryan Poles' ear and kind of just trying to give roster input and everything else like that. And I don't know how well that's going to work out because, as we know, part of Ryan Poles' contract was he has all final say in roster decisions. So maybe Kevin Warren is a huge fan of Justin Fields and he doesn't want him to go. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Ryan Poles' decision. So he's playing it really close to the chest. We don't know what's going on. We still don't know what's going. We can only speculate at this point.
Yeah,
Everybody's
sure. It's
talking about
very weird. It's just like nothing's leaking, like nothing.
nothing.
Um,
Everybody's
few
very
whispers
tight-lipped.
about, you know what I mean, Pittsburgh offering XYZ. Now there's people coming out saying nobody's offering anything for Justin, and the detractors will say it's because Justin's worthless, and the Justin Fields fans will say it's because we're not trading him. And I just think we kind of went over this last year that you kind of have to look at it like this: that the rookies are unknowns, and last year is a perfect example. We'll take Justin Fields out of the equation. Lamar Jackson was an MVP, guaranteed. You know what I mean? What has he got? A 75% win rate. Um, and no team would give up two first for him. No QB needy team, but multiple teams were trying to trade up to get Bryce Young. So it's not. It's just this weird thing where like they just want to wait it out. Everyone's like, you know what? I'd rather just risk it on the rookie. So I don't know how indicative it is of Justin's value. Maybe Fields is stern on an early second, late first. You know what I mean? Like I don't know exactly why. Maybe he's made it known that I'm not taking less than this. And like I said a couple weeks ago, that the closer we get to the draft, the less likely teams are going to pay anything, because even though they might be desperate on paper, they're like, hey, I'll take a Hail Mary in the draft. What if Michael Penix falls? What if JJ McCarthy falls? And then I'll just trade up, and instead of having to trade a late first or a second for Justin Fields, I can trade that same second to move up and get a rookie that I like. So I think I know, and Pohl said he wanted to do right by Justin. And like the longer we wait, it's not doing right by Justin unless they're keeping him. So
I'm
I know
still
that part's kind of out of his hands, but many of these trades get agreed upon way before free agency starts.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm still on the firm belief that Bears take quarterback number one. I do not think they trade the pick. Um, I mean, it's possible that both quarterbacks are on the roster next year. It's a slim chance, but it is possible. And
I don't think
maybe
so.
Justin gets traded on draft night for a late round pick in this year's draft and a second round next year. Either way, I still think quarterback goes one.
Quarterback's definitely
I,
going one.
I
I don't know
don't
if it'll be
think
us, but
I don't think they trade the pick though. I really don't see them trading the pick. It's just I don't know. It sucks because like you said, there's absolutely no Ryan Poles is the greatest poker player in the NFL right now. You have nobody has an idea that we can only speculate. There's been no showing of the hand at all whatsoever. The trade for they gave up a fifth round pick for Ryan Bates from Buffalo. And I see a lot of static about that move. And actually, I don't disagree with it whatsoever. Yeah, it was a fifth round pick, but and everybody's like, oh, well, Braxton Jones was taken in the fifth round, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people want to upgrade from Braxton Jones, and you're not going to find a lot of contributing rookies per se in the fifth round. Yeah, you have your flyers every, here and there and whatever, but Ryan Bates was a guy that he wanted to sign
he's a
prior
swing
to
guard though, right?
yeah, as well as center. He does play some center. And Mitch Morse, who he was backing up in Buffalo, just got released. But Buffalo wanted to keep Ryan Bates just for if they decided to cut Mitch Morse, which they ended up doing anyway, but they ended up getting the fifth round for him. But Buffalo liked him. He was very well liked on that team. He's a young player. He has a lot of experience, and I look at it as a depth move because Tevin Jenkins can't stay healthy. Nate Davis, had some personal issues going on last year. He couldn't stay healthy. So you have a litany of injuries on that offensive line, and you have a guy that you could just plug and play pretty much at any of the interior positions, center or both guard positions. So I look at it more as a depth move and not necessarily a starter. I really still think that they sign a center in free agency. They're not they're not going to break the bank. I don't think we'll see a big, huge, splashy move. I think we'll see a lot of depth, maybe one splash move on defensive end. I think if they're going to go
I
splash,
mean,
they
that's
will
really the
go
only
defensive
way to
end.
go all out is defensive end. I mean, I guess there's a few Tre'Davious White, but we don't need a corner.
No.
I don't agree with the base trade just because like I guess that's what he's worth, but we got a lot of money. People are getting cut like crazy. I would have liked to just could we have wait and got a free agent and kept our fifth? Like I'm not saying Bates isn't good. I'm just saying like are we I don't sure we both can agree there would have been somebody of Bates's caliber in free agency we could have went and got.
Absolutely, probably. But again,
So that's what
too,
I don't like about it. Like we're getting like waited out. We could have got Mitch Morris. Like we're gonna trade a fifth. Why don't we trade it for Mitch Morris? And at least it would. You know what I mean? They were cutting him anyway, so they probably would have took the fifth.
yeah, probably. I mean,
So and it's like he's a bona fide starter. We could plug him in and been the same as getting a free agent. So that's where I just don't get it. Like why do it now? Free agency is about to open up. At least can we see the free agents for a week and then you go do it? Like that's the part I don't get. Um, I am a Justin fan, so I'm starting to get a little sour on polls just because I don't like how it's going. So it's making me, like I said, I didn't like that choice. I just really don't get it. I did like the Jaylen Johnson signing though, um, but I haven't been a fan of the some of the other ones like Roquan, letting Roquan leave and then signing Tremon Evans to the same shit. Um, but I just didn't really get the base move, especially when Mitch Morris just got cut. It's like we were going to trade a fifth for one of them. And I'm assuming they would have said something, but it's like, so is he trying to save money? Is he trying to spend money? It's like we got a lot to spend and we have to spend it this year, right? We can't like this year we got to spend a lot of it. We can't
yeah, there was can you hear me still?
yeah.
There was a thing that I saw. It was like a graphic. It was over the last 5 years, the Bears have spent the absolute least amount of money out of any team in the NFL. It was like $893 million over 5 years total in a total span. They were number 32 in money spent. So they got to spend some money. And the thing too is, and we see it with a lot of other teams in terms of the cap. So A lot of other teams, we talked about it last week. We talked about it a couple of weeks in general, was that the salary cap thing really isn't real because
No.
what you can do is you can take, say, let's just say for an example, we'll take Jaylen Johnson's contract, right? So his AAV is around $19.5 million a year or some shit like that. 19 mil, yeah, 19 mil a year or whatever. So that's gonna count against the cap. If they wanted to restructure to open up a little bit more cap space, what they could do is they could convert part of his salary to a signing bonus. So out of that 19 mil, say they convert 10 million of that to a signing bonus for that year that comes fully guaranteed after a certain date. That $10 million now comes off the cap, and you can use that to sign another player. So you're just spending cash. The cash is coming from somewhere. It's going to be spent, but there's ways to finagle and
Yeah.
move around the
And the
cap.
Bears never even take a chance. It's like the Bulls.
Yes,
Um,
they don't. I mean, it's a tool for them to utilize. We don't see them utilize it hardly ever, but it is something that they could do if they wanted
all
to
the blue
splurge a
chippers
little bit.
are really tagged though. So I don't really
Yeah,
like Brad.
absolutely.
Brad Bird's got that, what, a Christian Wilkins or Wilkes or whatever. He'll be out there.
Wilkins, yeah, he did not get tagged. He's a three
Chris
technique.
Jones.
But see, here's the thing. I don't want to spend that much money on the defense. You have to invest in the offense at some point. We have invested in the defense quite a bit with the Tremaine Edmonds signing, with the Jaylen Johnson signing, and the Montez Sweat extension. That's a lot of money on that defense. That's like 89 to $90 million alone just on the defense. The offense has somewhere around 71 million. There's a huge gap between your offense and your defense in terms of investment. So they need to invest a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about center, we talked about tight end two, we talked about wide receiver two, wide receiver three. Those are positions of need that I mean, realistically, if we're talking positions of need, I would much rather take wide receiver two, wide receiver three before tight end two, before paying another
Yeah.
defensive tackle. So another edge rusher, sure you can add, but let's not spend $20 million a year on another edge rusher. We have enough invested in that defense as it is. Gino Stone or whoever, another safety, if you can get an edge rusher for 11 mil, whoever that's going to be, you're
So
going to
no
find a pretty
interest in
decent.
trading for Bosa or Mac anymore now.
No, I mean, well, but Mac might be a cap casualty as it is. If he is, again, that falls into the whole Russell Wilson thing. So if Khalil Mack gets cut, that cap number is going to be, dead cap is going to hit the Chargers still, and then he can sign with whoever he wants at, league minimum
Oh, it
if he
won't be the
wanted
Bears
to.
then.
But,
Probably be the Chiefs.
well, that's the thing is that we got rid of our late, we don't have any picks after round four, so it's not like we can trade a late round pick for Khalil
Yeah.
Mack anymore.
Yeah, you're
So
right. It's not like I don't. Polls is just honestly. I think it's just. I know you said it should be an easy decision last week, but I bet it is hard. I'm sure he likes Justin based on the, you know
oh,
what I mean,
absolutely.
and you don't even know Caleb, and you've got the whole planet telling you take Caleb. Most of the cities telling you to keep Justin. Your boss seems to like Justin. I don't know what ownership's feeling like. I know the locker room is Team Justin. I can't envision many of them are get Justin the hell out of here. So I just think it's tough. He's kept his composure, and he's just playing it really close to the vest. But I don't know what we're gonna do. Let's like at this point right now. I guess the odds are he takes Caleb, and it's like we take Caleb, we draft Roma Dunze or whoever, you know what I mean, Joe Alt, whoever we're taking there. And it's like, is that gonna be enough? Like, are we in another building block year again then? Because
If you keep Justin Fields, absolutely not.
yeah, Justin Fields, no. Again, and I'm on that too. If we keep Justin, we get him another piece or two. I mean, and I'm only even saying another piece or two, like just another wide receiver, some running backs who aren't going to get hurt you know what I mean, all year. And I mean, the defense as it is, I think it's top 15, which is fair enough. It's like to me, it's win a wild either win the wild card game or lose to the number one contender. You know what I mean, or like the team that eventually is going to play an NFC Championship in a good game, or we're moving on. I think they're just in a it's a trick bag, and it's hard to, like I said, the whole world's telling them to take Caleb, and I don't know what the right answer is. I've openly admitted I'm Team Justin. I'm loyal to our guys. I rode for Roquan even though he was being a knucklehead. I thought, yeah, hey, we need to figure that out. He's one of our guys. Shit, you know what I mean? Shit don't always align, but you cry. It didn't. That's fine, and it's looking like it's not going to work out this time. But um, I just don't think that if it's Caleb, Neighbors, whoever the wide receiver is, it's like we're not in a position to trade up anymore. That if we take Caleb, we're not in a position to trade up. Well, honestly, we're probably gonna have to trade back and hope a wide receiver falls to us so we can get a center or whoever. Free agency was looking bright as the season ended, but everybody got tagged. The Taylor Swift effect in the NFL, getting all those teams that extra 30 million in cap, really put a damper on teams letting anybody walk. That's why it's like I don't like Chris Jones, the free agent. I just don't see him not being on the Chiefs. He probably like he already said he'd take whatever. They just probably didn't tag him because they did it last year. But and they had to tag Snead, but uh we will see. Um but I think
Be
best
ready for a very exciting next 4 weeks or so
yes.
because the first wave of free agency is going to hit like a brick. I mean, you're going to see, signings left and right, and then it's going to
These
die
are the
down for
best
a
ones.
couple of weeks.
Yeah.
After the couple of weeks, like a week before the draft, you'll see another plethora of signings just so people can, teams can fill holes before the draft, go into the draft saying, okay, these are my absolute position of needs, and then these are my, luxury picks, I guess you can say. But yeah, like you were saying, I mean, it's looking like if they are going to trade anything, trade down from 9 if they pick Caleb at 1, and a potentially another historic haul if they trade the number 1 pick,
Yeah.
and they keep
I
Justin.
just think, well, that's gotta be the move. The free agents, like I said, are they're not T. Higgins isn't touching. Chris Jones, like I said, is a free agent. He probably ain't gonna be available. Brian Burns got tagged. T. Higgins got tracked. Like all these guys, the only people out there are running backs. When like, do we really want to take a leap of faith on one of those guys? Um, so we kind of have to build this thing through the draft, or you know what I mean. Somebody wants to trade somebody for next year's picks, but we push ourselves into a corner and I just think we need the picks. Not only just I think, but if we go with Caleb, then we're gonna just have to trade back at 9, I think, and not get Roma Dunes there, whoever. Because I just don't
There's a
think if Khalil
there
Herbert, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Cole Komet are our offense. I'm not saying it'd be bad. I'm just saying like I don't see us
There
being the
is a
best team in the NFC North.
lot of wide receiver talent in this draft that you could
Yes,
potentially find in later, round 1 to anywhere to round 3. The 2 kids from Texas look really good. There was the one that broke the combine record for a
Xavier.
shortest
I
time.
think the tall one who ran a 4. What he ran a
Yeah,
4.3 something,
it was Xavier Worthy who won
and
the
Adonis Mitchell.
yeah, and Adonis Mitchell. Both those guys will be late first round to early second round wide
But we
receiver
don't have
picks.
any of that.
Well, what I'm saying is if you trade back from
Yeah.
9, one of them will somebody's gonna be there
Well, I think there might be
that you're
somebody
gonna
there. Yeah,
like.
I'm not saying,
You
but that's what
know,
I'm saying. We have to trade back and just pray that somebody, Jackson Powers, is still there, or one of those wide receivers.
who's the X receiver from he's a big body guy, LSU. Big bodied
No, not neighbors. He's not big body. You're talking about Brian
no.
Thomas, the fast guy who ran the four
No,
three. Brian
okay,
Thomas.
so maybe
But
it's
did they
not.
have 3 wide receivers? It's neighbors and Thomas. Thomas ran a 4.3. Maybe he is big. I can't remember, but
No,
usually.
well, there's an extra. No, Keon Coleman.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh, from
yeah,
Oregon.
yeah. So we
I
don't
like him. I
have.
think he could
Yeah,
play.
we don't. He's a second or third round pick. We don't have an X receiver with that big body type. I think he would be a good fit. And with Shane Waldron's offense, he likes those big body. He got DK Metcalf. Um, but I mean, DK Metcalf is just a freak of nature in terms of his size and speed and everything else like that. So maybe he does like the speed. Maybe he will look at the Brian Mitchell and the Xavier Worthy and Adonis what's his name? Something
Adonis, I
Mitchell.
think. I don't know if it's
Adonis
Adonis. It
Mitchell.
might be some weird. It's like Adonis. I can't remember.
Yeah. I mean, so speed kills. We all know Ryan Poles has a type when it comes to the draft as well as free agents. He loves the athletic guys, the RAS scores, and a lot of those, A lot of those guys, uh, they're projects. A lot of them are the
I think
ones that are
Roman Wilson
extremely
is late in the. You can get him
athletic.
in the second, third round. He's really good. Slot
So
guy.
I would not, I would not be mad if the move they made was Caleb Williams at 1. I would not be mad if they traded back from 9.
I think they have to. I mean, I will be if we take Caleb Williams and then we take somebody at 9. I will be mad because we need the assets. I mean, even if it's to fall back like you did one spot or a couple spots to get a third, extra third or fourth, we just need it more than like
Well,
we.
what we
Unless
need is
somebody like Nate, you're really high on neighbors and he falls,
well, that's
or
what I'm saying. Or like if you have what you're hoping for is that a quarterback falls or a tackle needy team moves up because Joe Walt or Fashanu is still there.
yeah,
Like and teams will overpay for a tackle. What did Arizona give up to move up from 13 to 6 or whatever when they
can't
drafted Paris
remember.
Johnson Jr.? Like they'll give up a decent amount. I mean,
I like Joel. I wouldn't be.
you're really hoping for a quarterback needy team. Say JJ McCarthy's sitting there at 9 and he hasn't been drafted yet because there's a lot of talk about JJ McCarthy going top 10. There's a lot. I've seen him as high as 4 going to Minnesota, trading up with Arizona or some shit like it's just he's exploded. So you're really hoping for like a JJ McCarthy slide a little bit, and then a team's like, I have to have him. So say somebody like Pittsburgh, or
I think honestly that you use Pittsburgh. I think that is literally like the perfect fit for JJ McCarthy. As much as I'd like to see him on the Bears, I think it's a perfect fit. I think honestly, if the Bears end up whatever sticking with Justin, they should still take somebody like JJ McCarthy. He did it in college. You sit him for a year and roll, and you know what I mean. Put some packages in for him. Let him get the taste of it. I think he is a pro. He will be a pros pro. He's a team first guy. Um, and I think that I won't say it matters more than talent, but I think at quarterback it's just like Tom Brady's a goat, and no one will say he was arm talent wise one of the best quarterbacks. He was a demanding leader, and he, you know what I mean. He was friends with all the guys in the offense. They always were running drills after practice, and I think JJ McCarthy embodies that, and that's why I like him a lot. I would like to see him on the Bears. He's also a hometown kid. That's probably the only rookie that I wouldn't be upset if we ended up with instead of Justin. Um, but I've come to terms with it. I think it'll be Caleb. I don't know if anybody could handle the pressure. I'm sure he's getting, unless you know what I mean. He gets let off the hook and somebody offers him something like he literally cannot refuse. And there are whispers. Yesterday, every other day it's changing. I never know who's lying. Like you said, this one's from Adam Schefter that said like there's internal pressure for there's internal support for Justin Fields. He didn't say pressure or anything like that, but he just said there was some internal support.
hmm
We spoke about it. I would maybe it's Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren had a relationship with him before that. We obviously know the team wants him, so will that be enough? I don't know. But then Adam Rank's coming out, David Kaplan, who his move like so far down. Again, I'm sure he doesn't care and nobody cares, but I've lost a lot of respect for David Kaplan because it's one thing to not like Justin and to want the next quarterback, but Justin has never done anything but be very respectful and do what he's supposed to do. And maybe he didn't play up to par, but though I just feel like it's like a vicious attack against him, like he quit on us or he was a huge bust. Like he was the 11th pick. He was mediocre. He got brought in a bad situation. We all know that at least, and it didn't pan out. He wasn't a superhero. That's fine. No harm, no foul. And if you know what I mean, you want to go on and try and get the next Mahomes, I completely understand that. But to shit on him this whole time, like he was just like some fucking guy who ruined our fucking team. Like he talks about Justin like all the like he ruined the Bears. Like the Bears weren't a fucking shit show before he got here,
Yeah,
and
like he
possibly
said,
afterwards. Like
he's the reason the Bears got set back.
yeah, like I mean no, like he wasn't, and we thought we just the problem. I think Justin hurt a lot of people and broke a lot of people's hearts. The ones who are hating on him now, I think they truly in the beginning did think he was going to be like an MVP, and it just didn't. It didn't fold like that. And then it's even tougher pill to swallow when CJ Stroud steps in and they go right to the playoffs on a mediocre team, less than mediocre team if you want to call it. It's just pour salt in the wound, but
Oh yeah.
not to sound too girly or whatever you want to call it. Just like people's journeys are different. Like how shit unfolds is different. And I don't know what was going on in Texans. And I talk about this all the time. Football is not about talent; it's about culture, and that's why the Texans won. It wasn't. It was like camaraderie, whatever. The remember the Titans bullshit. But like that's what it was. Like because you can win football with energy and coaching and teamwork. Like it's not all like who could throw the ball the farthest, who could run the fastest. Like Texans was just a team full of young players who were seemed to be exceptionally coached. They had maybe one all pro caliber player, maybe two if you want to count CJ Stroud close to that. And they made it happen. And I think that hurts a lot of Bears fans when they're like, fuck, we could have had that guy. Or why can't our guy be like that? And I think comparison's the killer of all joy. Justin is Justin. I think you made a good example, and I think it holds true. I think Justin's a lot like Mike Vick. Um, and it hurt like we've just seen that Mike Vick wasn't that good unless he was surrounded by really good players and coached well. You got to draw it up for him, and maybe that's his career. Hopefully, I'm like I said, I don't think it is. I think he's better than that. I think if he gets moved, I think that'll be the swift kick in the ass he needed, maybe the change of scenery. And I honestly think we will regret it. But I mean, hopefully Caleb's good, and you know what I mean. It was a win-win. Um, but yeah, we'll just see. Like I said, it's not just talent, and I want some continuity. And he kept Eberflus. He kept, you know, me certain people. It's like I don't know what's going on. It just he said he wants to do right by Justin. Polls has just been weird, and I know this is tough, so it's kind of hard. Like I said, if I was in this position, I'm sure it'd be tough for me too. But he's being really inconsistent this offseason, I feel, and maybe it's because he's just trying to be secretive, so he's got to move differently because he doesn't want to give his hand away. But like to get back to the base trade, I didn't like it. I don't like. I won't say I didn't like. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like we could have got a swing guard for you know what I mean, a couple $1 million, whatever his salary is in free agency, and kept our fifth round pick. Or we could have got Mitch Morris. Like it's just not making any sense.
I mean,
And
Ryan Poles liked him.
yeah,
He wanted him. He tried to sign him. He actually did, give him an offer sheet. It's just that Buffalo matched it. So I mean, Ryan Poles really likes this guy. In terms of offensive line, like I said, we keep telling everybody we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to offensive linemen. He seems to know what he's talking about with
I
the
mean,
offensive
to me personally, I'm past the point of benefit of the doubt because we're not. I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. We're not giving other people the benefit of the doubt. And like I've said before, Justin is not getting any passes. And Justin and I'll accept that. Fine, Justin's job is to win games and score touchdowns and be a good quarterback. So if he doesn't do that, if we're not getting that outcome, fine, we'll put that blame on him. But Ryan Poles' job is to build a successful organization and a winning team, and so is Eberflus's, and they're not doing that either. And
Well,
like,
I
how
think
long does he get?
it's
5 years? Does he get 6 years? Does he get seven
I
years?
he gets his contract length, which I believe is 4 years, maybe it might be 5 years or whatever. I don't know. But when you're looking at Ryan Poles in terms, and
Well, that's how I feel about Justin. I
we've
would give him his
disagreed.
contract length, but we're not doing that. So
We've we've disagreed on this a couple of times in terms of just, what the difference is between, a GM and a quarterback in terms of a player. Ryan Poles' report card so far is a little bit better than Justin's, just in terms of team building. I get what you're
I
saying.
would agree there. But in fairness, Poles picked his position. He picked his destination. He picked his job. Justin got thrown into it. So
Yeah,
I mean, it should be
absolutely.
going a little more smoothly for Poles. This is what he wanted,
Hmm. And
and
that's why he's got a little bit more of a leeway as opposed to Justin.
well, I
And
mean, yeah, fine. You want to give him a leave? Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm holding him accountable. There's no excuse then. I'm not like if I don't like if he's not if I don't think it's a good job, then I'll just say an example. Like Jaylen Johnson, I said to start this off, I thought it was a good signing. I think that is what really good GMs need to do is not let our good players walk out the door. No matter what kind of rebuild or whatever we're in, I think you need to keep your good players, your all pros, your Hall of Famers. You got to kind of do your best to keep them. Um, and like you said, cap is an illusion. especially if it's
Hmm.
not a crazy deal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I'm not saying if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm not saying go out and give guys ridiculous, stupid contracts, but if it's like they want the market value, then just give them the fucking market value and we'll
Well,
figure it
that's
out.
the
The
thing.
cap's going up every year.
Yeah, you don't want to be the Chargers of the Saints where you're having to kick the can down the road multiple years in a row, but at the same time, say, I mean, well, what was Buffalo? Buffalo, when they released all these guys, were like 40 million over the cap. New Orleans is like 55, 60 million over the cap. And I think what was it? Michael Thomas has a contract when they restructured his deal or whatever to fit it in. If he is still on the active roster the first day of the new league year, which is Monday, he gets like $100 million guaranteed.
They
Like
cut him already, right?
his guarantees kick in. I don't know if they
I'm
did or
pretty sure.
not.
Oh, they said he is going to be cut. That's wild.
But yeah, like if he was on the roster day one of the new league year, he would have 100 million in guarantees kick in. So like you don't want to be like those guys, you know what I'm
No,
saying? But if you're like 10, 15 mil over the cap,
yeah.
sign
And we're
it.
the fucking Chicago Bears. We've had this conversation about the Bulls. It's like we are one of the biggest franchises in all, not just football, just all of sports. It's like I've never seen that metric. I never heard that. How are we the team that spends the least amount of money? We've got to be
Yes.
like top 15 in revenue at least.
$832
That's
million dollars.
crazy. And it's like, what is we doing? And it's like sometimes I think we outsmart ourselves. And it's like, do the Cowboys do that? They obviously don't have these Super Bowls, but like they're always good. But why? The Chiefs, they pay most of their guys. Tyreek Hill, they kind of made a pass on him, but everybody else, they do their best to get him. I think Tyreek Hill even went on the podcast and said this that they were like kind of bluffing, like
Yeah,
trying to
he's
get
yep,
the Chiefs to pay him, and they were like,
yep,
whatever, fine then. You know what I mean? I understand you get to a point where you're like, sorry, Tyreek, we can't give you 30 mil. We think you're 30 mil good, but we just gave Pat 55,
yep,
500 million. We got Kelsey, we got to get O line, and we got Patrick Mahomes, and it's like, so unless you want to take a pay cut, and I understand him not wanting to take one, that was his first big contract. I understand these guys got to eat, so that part I understand the business. But certain times, I think like if they really would have sat down and it was a Tyreek Hill, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the GM, they would have got the deal done. I think agents are greedy, and his agent heard, oh, we'll bluff them. You know what I mean? We're gonna bluff them and get more money, and they were like, well, whatever, go get like Miami will give you that money. We got a first round pick and some other picks, like
yep.
fucking win win for everybody, I guess. And uh but like I said, we need to keep our guys. So I did like see the Jaylen Johnson signing. I like the Montez Sweat signing. It was a little premature, but he lived up to it even after signing the deal.
Yes,
He
he
was a
did.
terror on the field. In a down season, Jaylen Johnson had the best year of his. We hope it wasn't just a contract here and he was really balling. But it's kind for corner, it's kind of hard. I don't really think you can be like, oh, I'm going to play better now. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's a little different when you're like a D end or a running back or a wide receiver. I just corner. I don't think it's like this thing where like, oh, I'm going to try really hard this season more than I've ever tried and I'm going to be better. So I think he is really good. I hope the guaranteed money doesn't. He's been a big injury guy. Um, every year has missed three or four games. I feel like almost every year, maybe since his rookie year, maybe not his rookie year, but I know last year he missed three or four. The year before that, the same thing. So hopefully the guaranteed money doesn't dissuade him from you know what I mean, like oh I got the money already, so I'll just sit out. Um, but that move I did like, and again, like I said, I'm past the point if we're not are giving Ryan Poles benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? It was a dumpster fire year 1 and 2. Now he's hit his groove. We got money. He's made his name. We've got assets to trade. We've got you know what I mean. There's moves to be made. So it's not like he's back in this corner and there's nothing to do. And the Bates deal was really one I just didn't. I just don't get it. So that makes me not like it because I feel like we've just been a little more patient. Like 6 hours after that, it's like Mitch Morse. Like I would much rather have Mitch Morris for that fit and the whatever. I'm guessing he's making $8-10 million a year, but whatever. I'm sure it's whatever the centers are going to get paid anyway. And I would much rather have him. And I hope there's somebody to get in free agency. I was just scrolling through it. Really, it doesn't really. I guess you were just saying you don't know if you want to spend any more money on defense, but I guess Daniil Hunter is like the only person. There's a couple free agent wide receivers: Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown. There are
I do not want Hollywood Brown.
I don't know. Wide receivers are so weird. They
They
play
are.
good some places. But I mean, Hollywood was good at times with Lamar, Antonio Winfield Jr. We'll see.
Monday.
Yeah, but we definitely need some draft assets. So if it's the historic haul at 1 or moving back from 9, we
I
need to
really,
somehow pick up a second.
yeah. I mean, if Caleb is the pick at 1, I can definitely see more likely than not they
I
trade
saw a
back for
story Caleb
9.
was in Chicago today or something. I thought at a bank in Highland Park. I don't know if it's true, but I saw that. I also saw that he pushed back his meeting for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't want to get in a
Are
harp.
you
I
talking? Are
know.
you talking about? Are you talking about the top 30 visit?
I don't know what the exact. It was supposed to have a meeting with the Bears. I don't know exactly what it was.
The Bears pushed it back.
Oh, okay.
They were going to do it the Tuesday after the combine, but they pushed it back until after his pro day.
Wow.
It was
For a guy like, again, like I don't know if he's just playing close to vest. He's trying to be confusing. This offseason has been infuriating. Because I like to feel like I know what's going on, and I feel like the Bears have um always done that, but they just have been very transparent. For whatever reason, I don't know if they're trying to maintain Justin's value or play poker and trade for the first pick, but I want it to be over here soon. And I hope it is Monday. Like I said, he said he wanted to do right by Justin. I think doing right by Justin would be trading him as soon as possible so he can get to his new team, get his
well,
playbook.
Ryan Poles also did say that, he was willing to wait out the veteran quarterback market because now with Kirk Cousins possibly moving on from Minnesota and Russell Wilson being released, there's a lot of dominoes to fall for those other teams, like you were saying. There's a lot of smoke behind Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta. Russell Wilson was just in Pittsburgh
And New York.
today.
I heard he was in New York too. He
You
went to New
know,
York
like,
first.
yeah, and there was a lot of talk about the Vikings being interested in Russell Wilson if they lost Kirk Cousins, and if they couldn't get either, they were interested in trading for Justin Fields. And you know what I'm saying? There's so
Uh,
many different
they
moving
say that.
parts.
I don't know if Justin's in the same market as like a Kirk Cousin or Russell Wilson. Like,
They're not, but if Minnesota strikes out
yeah, he might
on,
be a
you
consolation
know what I'm
prize,
saying,
but
they're not gonna roll Nick Mullins out there. What do they have? Pick
Brian
11.
Poles is going to trade Justin Fields to the Vikings.
Um, who
If
knows
he's
if
good on the Vikings, he's fired.
I mean there's other I mean who else can possibly the Raiders. Russ
Yeah,
could go there too. um the veteran quarterback market is going to be huge, and even if Pittsburgh strikes out with Russ, with how Mike Tomlin, they keep saying that they're going to roll with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. I if they do, that's suicide for them. But there's guys like Ryan Tannehill out on the market, and while Ryan Tannehill may not be the end all be all for a quarterback, he's at least a stopgap quarterback, somebody who you could start in front of a rookie for a couple of years to learn and everything else. So it, who knows? We don't know. It's going to be so tough with these teams, especially the teams that want quarterbacks with these free agent quarterbacks available right now. Um, we might have to wait a couple weeks. I, I, it sucks, but
I
that's
mean,
what.
yeah, it sucks. I mean, and it's annoying, but again, that would just make me call in the question where he's saying like, I want to do X, Y, Z, and then he's doing A, B, C.
Well,
Um,
you also don't want to take a low ball offer.
well, then, I mean, you could
Um,
just say that then instead of saying I want to do right by Justin, you just say, hey, I don't want to. I want to do my homework. I don't want to. You know what I mean? He
well,
made it clear to say he could have
I'm
said
sure
nothing, and he said I wanted to do right by Justin.
I'm
Like
sure
he,
he does want to do right by Justin, but at the same time, it's
yeah,
you
but
know,
he could. But that's one thing that like he didn't have to say that at all. He could have just said I'm gonna explore all options.
well,
I'm
he
going
has
to.
said that.
That's what I'm saying. So why the hell would you even put it out in the atmosphere that you want to do right by Justin? Like, why even say that then? Like, and again, that's the type of stuff that like free agents don't want to come here because dude's saying X Y Z and things like that. And I think like we are talking, the Bears aren't spending money. Bears don't spend money because we can't, because nobody ever likes our front office. On top of Chicago not being the best state to, or Illinois not being the best state to live in, we have who though, you know what I mean? You think Jerry Angelo schmoozing people? You know what I mean? Like, did Ryan Pace ever get a really big free agent? Even though we're
Yeah.
like, who?
Well, on defense, we
Well,
spent a
he
lot of money on defense. I
who?
mean,
Akeem Hicks?
he traded for Khalil Mack,
Yeah, but that wasn't a free agent. That was like he
Julius
didn't come here.
Peppers.
Yeah, but again, we that was Jerry Angelo, I think, and I think
Yes.
Julius Peppers is like the only blue chipper we've ever gotten like that,
In
and
terms
that
of
was
free
Lovey.
agent,
Didn't Lovey go get him?
they all boarded a plane and they
Yeah,
all
well,
were at
yeah, I
his
remember Lovey
doorstep
saying he was there at midnight or some shit.
at
But what I'm saying is like,
12:01 a.m.
yeah, I remember that story. But it's like we don't get any of these guys, and I don't know if it's bad. Like people don't like our front office, people don't like our coaching staff, or whatever. Like one was like we rarely get any big name free agents, and to be Chicago Bears, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
Julius
that's got to
Peppers is the
change.
biggest free agent we've gotten, and that was freaking 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now. Like, and it's I can't even think of anybody who's even close. I'm like trying to think of a free agent that we got that was really good. Like the who we paid is Mike Glennon. Like I just don't like. So that part is
Andy
just
Dalton.
weird. Like why say that? Why say I want to do right by Justin and then be like, well, I just want to do right by the team, which we already knew in the first place. So why say that? Like that's the part where like I don't know. Like maybe like I've said before, maybe it's just been tough for him. Maybe he likes Justin. He doesn't want to do this. Um, but he has to. But yeah, I
Well,
don't
like I
know.
said, the market's dried up too because a lot of those teams that were going to trade for Justin, with Russ being cut, Kirk Cousins, the possibility of leaving Minnesota, which a lot of people didn't think was going to be a possibility when, oh, he wanted to stay in Minnesota. He wanted to stay in Minnesota, so they didn't think he was going to be available. The market's just dried up right now, and until some of these veteran quarterbacks get signed or we have an idea where they're going, we'll probably have to put the Justin talk on the back burner. You realistically, today would have been the target date because he did trade the pick the Friday before free agency started. Today would have been the perfect target date for Justin Fields to be traded if you wanted to trade him before
Yeah.
free agency. I don't think you're going
Well,
to
I
do it
just
on the
think now,
defense,
like
but
we're at the point where we're not getting anything in this upcoming draft for Justin. Maybe like a fourth.
we'll see. Free agency
Maybe,
starts
like
on
I said,
Monday.
maybe it'll be a fourth and a second next year, or whatever it is. I just think we're at the point where we're getting nothing for
Yeah.
Justin in this upcoming draft. No late first, no second. That's not happening. So, because like I said, no team's going to do that right before the draft when it's one of the deepest quarterback classes in a while. They're just going to be like, all right, I'm going to let the draft play out, and then after the draft, if we swung and missed or we didn't get him, I'll get Justin then. And then if the Bears have taken Caleb Williams, they'll have no choice but to play ball because I know you said it earlier, but they can't be on the roster together. Justin's too beloved. Unless they plan on sitting. I mean, even then, they can't even put Caleb on the bench. They both would have to play perfect.
Yeah, you're gonna that creates a whole
Too much,
other
and I
can of worms that you
yes,
don't want to open.
exactly. It was too much of a debate all summer for them to be a debate through training camp and preseason and
Yeah,
the whole season.
I'm not saying that's what I would want. I'm just saying that's if there's no trade partners for Justin, what are you gonna do? You gonna trade him for a discount? I mean, you could take him into training camp and stuff like that, and if an injury happens, so similar to what happened with Minnesota when they gave up a first round pick to Philadelphia for Sam Bradford after Teddy Bridgewater went down in the preseason with that nasty injury.
I mean, I see that, but I
You can do
just
that, but at
you
the
can
same
hope
time,
that,
that's
but even then, I think that's toxic. That I
oh,
mean,
absolutely.
Caleb's got to land 2 days later and answer a bunch of questions at Hallis Hall. Justin will be there a couple weeks later, and it's like what? I mean, they're already getting asked those questions now. DJ Moore, now they're getting asked which teammate do you like better. So
Mhm.
I don't think that's a possibility. It has to be done before that, and if he's not, yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully Ryan Poles does right by Justin and the Bears fans and keeps Justin because I think that's what the large contingency wants. And hey, if we get fucked over, fine. We get burnt by him. Like it's the story of our lives anyway. And the next guy will probably do it to us as well. All right, like I said, not much too much happens. Caleb, Justin, we finally got Jaylen Johnson contract, so that's water under the bridge. Free agency's coming to town. Like I said,
Monday. I'm
yeah,
excited. I'm
Monday.
excited. I
And
can't
not a
wait.
lot of stuff has been, I don't know what, but like not a lot of stuff's been leaking. No, like where do you think Daniil Hunter's gonna go or like any of this? Everything's been pretty quiet. I'm ready for all this to just burst out and us to know the plan the Bears have moving forward because I guess that's the most discerning part where it's just like we're stuck in limbo. Is it gonna be fucking Justin or Caleb, Ross and Rachel? It's just I want to know like what we're gonna do in the draft. I want to do my mock drafts. I can't do any mock drafts if I don't know what we're gonna do. And I don't
Yep.
like doing pretend ones where I'm like, oh, we're keeping Justin, and then it's all for shit. But all right, we'll talk to you guys next week. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Keep it up. We've had a lot of interaction lately. I've been really enjoying it. You guys don't like Tom's hot takes. His Mike Vick take was going a little wild. I don't know why. Like it when you say it, it does sting a little bit because we love Mike or we love Vic so much. But he was more of a I think he was so good in Madden, people remember him like a superhero. But
That's the
when you
thing.
do look back,
I
he
don't
never won
understand.
anything. Like he
No, he
never really
was.
won anything. But
I,
he's the man. But all right, I'll see you next week, bud.
I'll see you next week.
Adios.